Hello students, today we are going to learn 3.6 the concert class 10. In the first video we have seen about Smita, Anant and their mother. Smita, she read out a news from the newspaper that Pandit Ravi Shankarji is going to play at the Shanmukhananda auditorium. Okay, and when the boy whose name was Anant, who heard the news from his sister, and he was very excited, his eyes were shining. Okay, but he was very ill, so he was unable to attend the concert. Anant was a good player, fastest runner, table tennis player. He was also learning sitar. He composed tunes, okay, and that was the surprising thing to his guru, means to his master. But unfortunately, the cancer struck him, and the doctors told his family that he had only few days. That the part we have seen in our earlier video. Now let's see the second part. Page number 139. They had come with high hopes in the miracles of modern science. They told themselves that Anant would be cured at the hospital and he would again walk and run and even take part in the forthcoming table tennis tournament. Anant's family, they moved towards Bombay because his parents, they have hope that definitely there will be some kind of a miracle and that will happen due to modern science, and definitely their son Anant will be here cured at the hospital. And so they walked where? Towards Bombay, and they hoped here that Anil would again walk and run and even take part in the whatever means forthcoming table tennis tournament, means in future tournament, and he would play the sitar, perhaps be a great sitarist one day. But his condition grew worse with each passing day, and the doctors at the cancer hospital said, take him home, give him the thing he likes, indulge him, and they knew then that the boy had not many days to live. Here, Anand's parents, they had a hope in their mind. They thought that their son Anand would be cured from that very dangerous disease, cancer. Okay, because that modern science would do something miraculous, okay, in the life of Anand. But day by day his condition was going to worse, okay, with each passing day. And doctors where at the cancer hospital, they told the parents of Anand that to take him home and whatever the things he liked, indulge him. That means whatever the desire of Anand was, that fulfill. Okay, that was the advice from the doctors, and they knew then that the boy had not many days. The doctors here told the Anand's parents that he had not many days in his hand to live, okay, but they didn't voice their fears. Didn't voice their fears means what? To express their worries in words. To express their worries or doubts in words, that means voice their fears. Actually here doctors suggested them that take the boy to home, give whatever the things he liked, whatever his wishes, that try to fulfill them. Okay, that was the suggestion from the doctors because Anand had very few days, but the parents had a hope in their mind that definitely he will be cured. Okay, so they didn't here express their worries in words. They laughed and smiled and talked and surrounded Anand with whatever made him happy. They fulfilled his every need and gave him whatever he asked for. Here, Anand's parents, they tried to laugh, they smiled here, they talked and always surrounded Anand with whatever the things that made him very happy, that give him pleasure, that they always tried to do for Anand. That was the suggestion by the doctors. Okay, so they here did each and everything for the sake of Anand. They tried here to fulfill his every wish, his every need, and give him whatever he asked. And now he was asking to go to the concert, the chance of a lifetime, he was saying. He also knew about the thing because day by day his condition was worsening. Okay, so here his wish was that he wanted to attend, his desire was to attend the concert that he heard from his sister Smita. Okay, she read out that news from the newspaper. He told that this was the chance of lifetime. That means what was the chance? He wanted to see and hear Pandit Ravi Shankar ji. Okay, that was the chance of lifetime for him. He was saying there. When you are better, his mother said, this is not the last time they are going to play. Here, mother, we saw her care for the son. She was very here worried about his condition. Okay, and she always tried to keep him in a good way. She always tried to uh, or she tried here to pay attention for what, to give him proper atmosphere and for his rest. So she told him that when you will be cured, definitely she would take him to the concert. Okay, this was not the last time they were going to play. Okay, that means Pandit Ravi Shankar ji and Ustad Allah Rakha. Definitely there will be other concerts and she would take him to attend the concert. So this was not the proper time for him to attend the concert. Smita stood at the window looking at the traffic, her eyes wet with tears. Her mother whispered, but you, Smita, you must go. Your father will take you. Smita, she stood at the window and she was looking at the traffic. At the time, her eyes were wet. Why? Because she thought about her brother. They always used to do the things together. She was not alone anytime. Always there was her brother. This time she was alone. Okay, because her brother was seriously ill, he had cancer, and so there because of that her eyes were wet. Her mother told her that Smita, you must go. Okay, that means Smita would go and attend the concert. Her father would take her to see the concert. When she was alone with Aunt Sushila, Smita cried out in a choked voice, no, how can I? We have always done things together, Anant and I. Choked. Choked means what? Having difficulty in breathing because of sadness. Here, this para indicates very sorrowful condition of Smita. She was very sad. She was very nervous. She was disappointed here because of Anand's illness. Now she was alone with Aunt Sushila and she cried out in a choked voice, in a means difficulty in breathing because of her sadness, and she told Aunt Sushila she was not able to attend the concert. How can she was not here able to go to concert? Because they have or always they have done the things together, Anant and she. But this time she was alone, so it was not possible for her to attend the concert. How can she? Okay, that was her question to Aunt Sushila. A walk in the park might make you feel better, said Aunt Sushila, and Smita was grateful for her suggestion. You know that if anybody feels here disappointed, if anybody feels very unhappy, if the person goes in the company of nature, nature definitely soothes the person. Okay, the person feel relaxed in the company of nature. Here Aunt Sushila gives suggestion to Smita, walk in the park, and that definitely might make her feel better. And here Smita also took the aunt's suggestion that would definitely feel her grateful. Okay, and so she tried to go to park. In the park, people were walking, running, playing ball, doing yogic exercises, feeding ducks, and eating roasted gram and peanuts. Smita felt alone in their midst. She was lost in her thoughts. Now let's see what happened there. Now Smita went in the park. She watched there many people. People were walking, running, playing ball, doing yogic exercises, okay, different activities they were doing there, and Smita watched all their activities. Some people were feeding the ducks, some were eating roasted grams, some were eating peanuts, okay. But in that atmosphere also Smita felt alone in their midst. Midst means what? In the middle of, means among them, okay. There were many people, but there also Smita felt alone. She was lost in her thoughts. Something was going on in her mind. Suddenly, a daring thought came to her and she hurried home. She said to herself, "Why not? There's no harm in trying it." When she was in the park, suddenly a daring thought came in her mind. Okay, and so hurriedly she came to, or she returned to home, and she said to herself, "Why not? Why can't she?" Let's see the thought. Okay, there was no harm in trying that thought. Okay, it would be nice to go to the concert. I don't know when we will get another opportunity to hear Pandit Ravi Shankar, she said to her mother later, and her father agreed to get the tickets. Here Smita, she was thinking differently. There was one daring thought in her mind, and that was going on. So she immediately went to home, and it would be nice thing for them to attend the concert, and means no one will tell about that when they will get any opportunity to hear Pandit Ravi Shankar ji. Okay, so that was the good opportunity for them, that she told to her mother later, and her father also agreed to take the tickets. The next day, as Smita and her father were leaving for the concert, her brother smiled and said, "Enjoy yourself," though the words came out in painful gasp. Lucky you. What happened next day? Let's see. When Smita and her father, they were mm, here ready for leaving the concert, their brother Anand, who was smiling, and he said to them, "Enjoy yourself." Okay, what did he say? He said that what? Enjoy yourself means father and sister enjoy yourself, because he was unable to go with them because of his illness. He was seriously ill, and his words means when he heard the news about Pandit Ravi Shankar ji, his eyes were shining and he was feeling very excited, even though he was on the bed. And the words came out in a painful gasp. How these words come out? With painful gasp. Gasp means a short, quick breath of air taken through the mouth when you are in pain or surprised. Okay, in that condition. Also, he said to Smita, she was very lucky because she was going to attend the concert of Pandit Ravi Shankar ji. Sitting beside her father in the gallery, Smita heard, as in a dream, the thundering welcome the audience gave the great master. Now, where was Smita? Because they were now where? In the room. They were attending the concert of Pandit Ravi Shankar ji, and she sat beside her father in the gallery. Smita heard in a dream. Actually, at first she was feeling that she was in a dream. But where was she? She was attending the concert. The thundering welcome, that means great welcome. Okay, thundering welcome the audience gave to the great master, who was the great master? Pandit Ravi Shankarji. Then the first notes came and over the air, and Smita felt as if the gates of a land of enchantment and wonder were opening. When the concert began, the first notes, that means musical sound that was going on, and when that the first notes came over the ear, Smita felt that the gates of a land of enchantment means what? Held with complete attention as though by magic, means magically that all the things were going on and wonder were opening, means that is the expression used for the concert. Spellbound, she listened to the unfolding rugs. Spellbound means held with complete your attention. Okay, spellbound means what? Complete attention. And enchantment, that means a feeling of great pleasure or delight. I have given the another word, spellbound, that means what? Held with complete attention as though by magic. And enchantment means what? A feeling of great pleasure or delight. That means something that will happen here delightfully. Everything was going on very happily. Spellbound, she listened to the unfolding rags. Unfolding means what? Gradually developing or being revealed. That is called unfolding. That unfolding rags. Okay, she listened that rags. And how were that rags? The rags were gradually developed and or revealed rags. The slow plaintive notes. Plaintive means sad or mournful notes. The fast twinkling ones. But all the while the plan she had decided on the evening before remained firmly in her mind. Means in that evening, means what happened actually? A daring thought came in her mind, and she was thinking in a different way what would she do for her brother. And when she was listening Pandit Ravi Shankarji, that the thought was also in her mind, that was very firm. The chance of a lifetime. She heard Anand's voice in every bit of the tabla. When Ustad Allah Rakha Khan was playing tabla, each and every note, that beat of the tabla, that was reminding her Anand's voice, the chance of lifetime, because Anand was here desired for what? To see and hear Pandit Ravi Shankarji and Ustad Allah Rakha. Okay, so that was the chance of lifetime for him, and that the words of Anand that were here in the mind of Smita. The concert came to an end. The audience gave the artist a standing ovation. Okay, now the concert came to an end, and audience, they started giving the artist a standing ovation. Ovation means a period of prolonged applause during which the crowd or audience rise to their feet. Okay, why? Because the concert that was excellent, and so the audience started giving a standing ovation. Okay, that the prolonged applause during which the audience rose and they gave the applause here. A large mustached, having a long mustache man made a long boring speech. Then came the presentation of bouquets. Then more applause, and the curtain came down. The people began to move towards the exits. Now there was a man having a large hair mustache who made a long boring speech, who delivered here a boring speech because it was very long according to Smita. Then came the presentation of bouquets, offering of bouquets. That ceremony was going on, and after that there was a loud applause. Then the curtain came down. That means it was the indication of the concert was going to end. Then people here began to move towards the exits. Now was the time Smita wriggled her way through the crowds towards the stage. Then she went up the steps that led to the wings. her heart beating loudly in the wings, a small crowd had gathered to talk about the evening concert, to help carry bouquets and teacups and instruments. Now it was the time of Smita, because she was thinking she wanted here to do something for her brother. So she eagerly regaled means what? Twisting. She twisting or turned the body with quick movements here, and she made her way through the crowd towards the stage. Then she went up the steps, and that steps led to the wings. That time her heart was beating loudly, okay, because she was only 16 years old, and she was going to meet a very famous personality, Pandit Ravi Shankarji. In the wings, a small crowd she observed there, that was gathered to talk about the concert, evening concert. They were praising the concert, okay, and some were helping to carry out the bouquets and teacups and the instruments, means whatever the preparation was done there, they were doing that, okay, because the concert now ended. He was there, standing with the man who played the tabla for him, the great wizard of music, Ustad Allah Rakha. Her knees felt weak, her tongue dry, but she went up and standing before them, her hands folded. "Oh, sir," she burst out. He was there. The word he is used for Pandit Ravi Shankarji. He was standing with the man. Who was the man who played tabla for him? Actually, there is the spelling mistake. This is the table, but this is not the table. This is tabla, Tabla. And the person who was the wizard of music. Wizard means what? Expert. And his name was Ustad Allah Rakha. Her knees felt weak. Smita's knees felt weak because when she was going to meet these great personalities, her tongue was drying, and her knees that felt means she was trembling here. But she gathered here courage, and she went up and stood in front of them, having folding hands. She burst out, "Oh, sir," in a requesting manner, in an appealing manner. "Yes?" he asked questioningly but kindly, and her story came pouring out, the story of her brother who lay sick at home, and of how he longed to hear him and the Ustad play. Now, when she stood in front of them, folding hands, and she started telling something which was very important for her. Then, in a very questioning way but very kindly, the person asked her, yes, what did she want to talk or what did she want to ask? She started telling her story, okay, the story of her brother Anand, who was ill. He had cancer, and his last wish was to hear and see Pandit Ravi Shankarji and the play of Ustad Allah Rakha. Okay, that was the chance of lifetime. "Will you come to Aunt Sushila's house? Will you come to Aunt Sushila's house and play for him?" she asked at the end breathlessly. "Please," she begged, "please come." Now her question was, "Will you come to Aunt Sushila's house?" That means she asked them they would go to Aunt Sushila's house and play for the boy, means him, whom for the word is used Anant. She asked them what at the end breathlessly, and she was requesting, she was begging them, "Please come, please come." "Little girl," said the mustached man who had made the long speech, "Panditji is a busy man. You must not bother him with such requests." Bother means what? Cause of trouble. There was the person who gave that boring speech, long speech, and he was with Pandit Ravi Shankarji. And he tried to stop the girl. He told her, "Little girl, what? Panditji is a busy man, okay? And you must not here trouble him with your requests." But Pandit Ravi Shankar smiled and motioned him to be quiet. He turned to Ustad Sahib and said, "What shall we do, Ustad Sahib?" But later what happened? To her astonishment, Pandit Ravi Shankarji smiled and motioned toward him and gave him signal to be quiet. To whom? That man. Then he turned to Ustad Sahib and asked Ustad Sahib what should they do. Okay, he asked to Ustad Allah Rakha. The Ustad moved the wad of pan from one cheek to another. "Tomorrow morning we perform for the boy." "Yes," he said. Now what? Wad. Wad means what? A soft compressed lump or a mass of something. That means he had a pan in his mouth, and from one side to another side he was taking that. So the Ustad Allah Rakha Khan moved that pan from one cheek to another, and he said that tomorrow they would perform for the boy, and they agreed for that. "Yes," Panditji replied, "it's settled then." Panditji also agreed for that, and both Panditji and Pandit Ravi Shankarji and Ustad Allah Rakha Khan, they agreed to play for the boy, and definitely they would fulfill their wish. It was a very excited Smita who came home late that night. Anant was awake, breathing the oxygen from the cylinder. That night, after the concert, Smita and her father, they went home. It was the late night, okay? But that time also Anant was awake. Why? Because he wanted to learn something. He wanted to ask about Pandit Ravi Shankarji to Smita and his father. At the time he was breathing very painlessly with having oxygen from the cylinder that was put under his bed. Did you hear him? He whispered. He was very excited, and in that manner he asked his sister Smita, did she hear him? "Yes, I did," she replied, "and I spoke to him, and he will come tomorrow morning with the tabla ustad, and they will play for you." That was really very, very important thing, very significant thing that she told to Anant. When Anant asked her, "Yes, what? Did she hear him?" She gave him a reply, "Yes, she had heard the concert, she had heard the Pandit Ravi Shankarji and the Ustad Allah Rakha Khan." She replied him. She spoke to him later. That was the very, very important thing for Anand. They means who? Ustad Allah Rakha and Pandit Ravi Shankarji. They were going to come tomorrow morning. That means the next day with whom? Tabla Ustad means Pandit Ravi Shankarji and Ustad Allah Rakha, and they were going to play for Anant. That was the news from Smita. And the following morning, and Sushila's neighbors saw two men get out of a taxi which pulled up outside their block. They could not believe their eyes. "Is it?" "It's not possible," they said. Pulled now means what? Here they stopped for a while here, okay? And the following morning means the next day, what happened? They came to Aunt Sushila's house, and when they saw these two persons coming down from the taxi, they couldn't believe to their eyes. "Is it?" Okay, that was not possible, but Smita had done this, and that made it possible. They said, Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Rakha went up to the wooden staircase and knocked softly on the door of Aunt Sushila's apartment. They went in, sat down on the divan by the window, and played for the boy. Pandit Ravi Shankarji and Ustad Allah Rakha, they went up the wooden staircase. They knocked very softly on the door where Aunt Sushila's apartment, and when the door was opened, they went in, they sat down on the divan by the window, and they started playing for the boy. And what happened later, that was really very different one. The chance of lifetime for Anant, surrounding him with a great and beautiful happiness, as life went out him of him gently, very gently. When Pandit Ravi Shankarji and Ustad Allah Rakha Khan, they started playing for the boy, that the atmosphere was very happy. The tune started and the boy felt very relaxed. That was really very very important moment for him. A great and beautiful happiness that was in the life of that boy, and ultimately, finally, the life went out from him very gently, and for he was means there for the chance of lifetime. Actually, he was very means his wish was very very great, and he wanted to hear and see Pandit Ravi Shankarji. That was the chance of lifetime for him. And when he heard Pandit Ravi Shankarji and Ustad Allah Rakha, life went out of him gently, very gently. That is the end of the story. This is the very touching and true story. Okay, except the names of Pandit Ravi Shankarji and Ustad Allah Rakha, and other names are the imaginary, but this is the true life story. Okay, here we have seen about Anant, Smita. Okay, and Smita's here struggling for Pandit Ravi Shankarji and Ustad Allah Rakha for taking them towards Aunt Sushila's house, because she wanted to fulfill the last desire, wish, okay, or wish of her brother Anand. And definitely she was successful in her what whatever the thing she decided. She was successful in taking Pandit Ravi Shankarji and Ustad Allah Rakha in Aunt Sushila's house. And so Anant here stopped, means the life went out him. Finally he went away from the world. That is the end. I hope that you have understood the whole story. Okay, if you have any doubt, please give your suggestions in the box. Okay, have a nice day. Thank you.